Stuhr Museum is located on 3133 West US Highway 34 in Grand Island, Nebraska. The Stuhr Museum is open 7 days a week, except for Mondays in January, February, and March. Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, Sundays 12 to 4, May 1st through Labor Day. Stuhr Building opens at 9 a.m. Historic railroad town and former Rotunda opens at 10 a.m. Farm Machinery Building open from 10 to 4 daily. Pawnee Earth Lodge and Road Ranche log cabins open weekends day after Labor Day, April 30th through April 30th. Stuhr Building opens at 9. Historic railroad town Stuhr Building opens at 9 a.m. The Fauner Rotunda opens at 10 a.m. Historic railroad town and all outdoor exhibits available. Exterior viewing only. Museum is closed New Year's Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas and Easter. Also, the Stuhr Museum of the Prairie has so much to see and has old-time buildings such as a railroad depot, blacksmith shop, and dozens of exhibits including trains, and they used to give train rides on the museum grounds, which the tracks past this station are like abandoned now, which the Nebraska Midland Railroad and people who board the train in Railroad Town and a steam engine hauled the train. And Nebraska Midland Railroad was a narrow gauge railroad, 36-inch gauge steam line that was established in 1973 in North Platte, Nebraska. It operated only 1 year of passenger service there before having to look for a new base due to not being able to obtain the needed right-of-way. It then relocated to Stuhr Museum in Grand Island, Nebraska, and operated at least through the 1980s. Today, the Stuhr Museum doesn't have any train rides these days, but sometimes there are handcar rides and trains to view and see, mostly. What you see right behind me is Union Pacific 437 was built by Baldwin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1901 and is the 18,413th steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 280 consolidation type steam locomotive and is a C57 class steam locomotive and is a Union Pacific 437 was a freight locomotive on the Union Pacific Railroad, and I believe it was used in Cheyenne, Wyoming to shunt, haul freight, and went on Union Pacific lines around Nebraska, I believe, with freight trains. Also, the locomotive was then retired, came to be part of the Stuhr Museum in Grand Island, Nebraska, on static display where it is today. Also, Union Pacific 437 is one of 21 surviving Union Pacific 280s in the world today, and you can find Union Pacific 437 on display at the Stuhr Stuhr Museum in Grand Island, Nebraska, where it is today, and you can even visit the cab of the locomotive and even sit where the engineer and fireman used to sit. Also, Union Pacific 437 used to sit in Railroad Town for display, then moved to right here, which may be its final resting spot. Union Pacific 5280 was built as a wood caboose. Also, Union Pacific 5280 is a caboose once used on the Union Pacific Railroad behind freight trains in the past. Also, Union Pacific 5280 was originally numbered as Union Pacific 25999 and was painted yellow and renumbered as Union Pacific 5280, then Union Pacific 2701, then Union Pacific 3201, then Mount Hood number 7, then Union Pacific 7, later numbered as Union Pacific 5280, which it currently is. Then later on, Union Pacific 5280 was then retired, then came to be part of the Stuhr Museum in Grand Island, Nebraska, where it is today. And also Union Pacific 5280 can be found in Railroad Town at the Stuhr Museum as well today. What you see right behind me is Union Pacific 2064. Union Pacific 2064 was built, I believe, somewhere in the mid-1900s and is a mail car used for the Union Pacific Railroad. Also, Union Pacific 2064 was one of the many Union Pacific mail cars once used on the Union Pacific Railroad and was used for sorting mail inside the mail coach and even grabbing mail. Also, Union Pacific 2064 was later then retired and then came to be part of the Stuhr Museum in Grand Island, where it is today, and can be seen and found in Railroad Town at the Stuhr Museum today. What you see right behind me is Denver and Rio Grande 3346. Denver and Rio Grande 3346 was built like maybe somewhere in the 1920s or 1930s or 1940s, I believe, and is a narrow gauge boxcar and is one of the many narrow gauge Denver and Rio Grande boxcars built. Denver and Rio Grande 3346 was used on the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad and hauled boxes and whatever it hauled in the past. Then later on, Denver and Rio Grande 3346 came to be part of the Stuhr Museum in Grand Island, where it is today, and can be found at Railroad Town at the Stuhr Museum as well today. Well, I hope you all enjoyed learning about trains with me today in the Now You Laugh Train Guy segment show. Also, I hope to see you all again in the next segment, so this is Now You Laugh, host of Now You Laugh Train Guy segment show, signing out until next time. All